Eliter Alvarez. He upset the apple cart with a 7th round technical knockout, that's TKO, over Sergey Kovalev. With the win, Alvarez moves to 24-0, 12 knockouts. And Kovalev drops to 32 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw with 28 knockouts. Now, let me word things this way, because my phone has been blowing up. I got text messages from like 8 or 9 people. I mean, seriously, that many. Some of whom I haven't heard from in months. I mean, what happened to your boy? Your man got knocked out. Kovalev got exposed. Or Kovalev. Take your pick. Okay. First of all, Kovalev is not my boy. I like him as a fighter, but come on with this he's your best friend stuff. I mean, come on. Secondly, let's look at the word exposed, shall we? Coming into this fight, Sergey was a top 10 pound-for-pound guy. And most certainly the #1 light heavyweight in the world, okay? He's got wins over Darnell Boone, Gabriel Campillo, Nathan Cleverly, which was the fight that kind of got him, brought him international attention. Ismail Salak, Bernard Hopkins, Jean Pascal twice, Isaac Chilemba. And most people I talk to feel he beat Andre Ward in the first fight. So, you know, at the very least, he won that in most people's eyes. At least most people I talked to or read who had an opinion. So when we say exposed, it confuses me, and it just makes me chuckle a bit. What was exposed, and excuse my language, was how much a bitch-ass Adonis Stevenson is for not only ducking a Kovalev unification a few years ago, but also for avoiding Alvarez for at least 3 years. Eliter Alvarez became a millionaire without fighting from all the step-aside money that Stevenson paid him. One fact about what went on Saturday night is going to be missing. All right. It just is. You see, I'd say about 99% of media who report on this fight, they'll talk about Kovalev he's seen better days, he's done, he may retire. But they'll leave out one piece of the story in their videos or on their website articles or on their radio shows or what have you. One fact will remain hidden. And the part that is missing is this. Sergey Kovalev is and will always be a real G. A real G, I'm telling you. He never ducked or dodged anyone. And whoever introduces him for his Hall of Fame speech needs to remind people of just that fact. You tell him it's a fight available and he fights. That's Sergey, Kovalev. Or Kovalev, take your pick. Remember, this title shot was offered to Alvarez, okay? Why? Because Kovalev is a fighter. No step-aside money, no contract negotiations held up. He just fights. And in his career, he's lost some, but he's won more. That's what real fighters do. Real fighters. Unfortunately, Sergey is a 35-year-old drug-free boxer. Okay? The skills erode. The reflexes erode. But that's what they're supposed to do when you're 35 years old. And Kovalev, he got caught. And the reflexes. The punch was thrown at the right time and he got caught and went down. These are punches that he probably would have taken 2 years ago, a year ago. But this is what happens to drug-free fighters when they hit a certain age, that 33, 34, 35, what have you. In that range, between, I would say, 33 and maybe 38 for some guys, or something like that. Now, most people that texted me, they're what I'll call pro-PBC guys, if you follow me. And I'm not going to knock them for that. But every time a Kovalev or a Lomachenko or a Golden Boy fighter or a Top Rank or a K2 guy loses, I get these text messages. I don't get it. And when their guys lose, I'm like, hey, that's boxing. Here's what he did wrong. Here's what he did right, or what have you. But I understand. These are casuals who like to think they know boxing, but they don't. Anyway, this isn't a hit video on any of them. But you know what? It's also not an apologist video for Sergey. As I said, it's normal for a 35-year-old drug-free boxer to deteriorate. We've seen that with Golovkin. But notice I said that Sergey was drug-free, not necessarily alcohol-free. Okay? We know Kovalev. He drinks. We also know he may take a shortcut. Especially at his age, he might take a shortcut and not give it his all anymore in training. And don't get me wrong, you have to taper some of your training off as you get older, but you know what I mean by shortcuts. Things that he can still do, that he should do, but he might not do. Only he knows what kind of effort he put in for this fight. Eliter, on the other hand, knew that this was his one shot at glory. After being paid off for years by Stevenson, he was hungry to finally get his shot. And you know what? He took advantage of his shot and got the victory. Dmitry Bivol is just like Kovalev. He's not going to duck Alvarez and wouldn't have ducked Kovalev had he won. But bitch-ass Stevenson won't fight any of these guys. None of them. Don't count on it. And don't think if Stevenson fought either guy tonight that he wouldn't have been stopped also. I think Sergey, who fought tonight, and I think Eliter, who fought tonight, would have stopped the Adonis Stevenson of his last fight. Let's put it that way. If Badu Jack, in other words, had any kind of power at the weight, or at least had like a second or third gear in that fight, he would have stopped Adonis also. So now we're looking at a unification fight between Eliter, Alvarez, and Dimitri Bivol. That unification fight is intriguing, if not only for the fact both guys are unbeaten, which seems to excite the fans of today more for some reason. When two guys with an O, I like that guy who had a setback. Like, one of my favorite fighters was Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and he got frozen out of the title picture for years. So he fought a couple of guys and lost, and it knocked him back down. And this was well before the Ray Leonard and the Mugabes and the Thomas Hearns and all those guys, and Duran and what have you. And when he came into those fights, he had losses. But the Marvin Hagler that most people know, they know after the Willie, the Worm Monroes, and what have you. So, I mean, I understand that the O next to both guys' records, that's fine, but man, it's like everybody gets excited about that, and the fighters, they don't fight each other because of that O, protecting that O. That's their calling card, and they figure if they get a 1 in that loss column, that their career is over, and it's not. But this is boxing today, and it trickles down to the fans. So it should be more exciting if they when they unify and somebody's O has to go, as they say. If that fight gets signed, it needs to come back to Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Atlantic City, or to the Ocean Resort Casino in Atlantic City. I hope it comes to AC, because I'm telling you all once again, if you've heard me say it in the videos and no one else say it, I want the points on it when it happens. I don't want you to say you heard it anywhere else. Atlantic City is going to be a hotbed for boxing once again, okay? Take my word for it. In 2 weeks, we'll be back in Atlantic City and at the Top Rank on ESPN card with Bryant Jennings and Shakur Stevenson and some other names. So trust me, it's coming. You had an HBO card tonight, main events, and then you have the Top Rank card. Atlantic City is I'm telling you, it's going to be back big time. In the ambulance, Kovalev said that he was okay, and he thanked everyone for their support, and he loved his fans. I need more from Sergey. No, I need to know. I mean, look, man, go to the hospital, get checked out. Think he'll be fine, but I need more. I need to know where you're at, because this fight, we just need to know where Sergey is at. I think that there were some issues mentally. If you go back, and if I remember, I'll put it down at the bottom, but if I don't, somebody just remind me. Go back to my video right before the second Ward fight, where I said that they ran a game on him mentally, and I just didn't know. I didn't think he was going to be ready for that one, and he wasn't. I thought he was winning until getting punched in his dick like a few times. But if you notice, Ward was busted up in that fight. I mean, he had to endure some damage in order to get his low blows in. But if you go back to my video, it has Jay Prince on it, and I can't remember who else, but John David Jackson was part of the setup, and even though he was Kovalev's trainer, he was pro Team Ward. And when they made that offer and so on and so forth, John David Jackson is a snake. And I liked him up until that moment. And I've rapped to John a couple of times prior to and after fights. And but it started there. It continued. And Sergey, it's my belief that he went with the trainer he trusted. And they had a good relationship, but maybe it was to the point where it was too good, where he let him have days off in training. Don't get me wrong, when you have to take days off when you're really pushing yourself, but I think these were more like, all right, I'm going to be your friend type days. So I need to hear more. I need to hear more. Is Sergey finished? Which is what everybody seems to be saying right now. In my opinion, is I don't know. I don't know if he's finished. See, you got to remember another thing that's going to be hidden. He was up by 4 points on most people's cards with 5 rounds to go. You understand? So he was up 59-54. I'm sorry, 59-55. He was up 4 points, at least most people ringside. So he was winning the fight. I mean, he was in charge. He got caught. And now, so we'll see. But you're talking about people are like, he's finished. He's exposed. And you're talking about the #1 light heavyweight in the world who lost to a top, whatever he was, five light heavyweight. You're talking about a pound for pound top 10 guy in the world. But like, you see something, you see a guy lose, and it's like, he's finished. I got one guy that texted me like, man, see, he comes back from the Ward fight, and he's ruined. And I'm like, dude, you do realize he's fought a couple of times since those fights, right? My video that I did after his last fight that I saw him at in where was that, Madison Square Garden. I said he looked old, and I didn't think he would beat Bivol. If you go back to that video, he just looked like an old man that could still do it a little bit, but he got caught, and it's a defensive flaw, and something I'm sure they saw on tape, and so we'll see. I don't know if he's finished. I don't think he is, but you know, your heart has to be. Listen, does your heart have to be 100% in it to get back to where you need to be? No, but you better give me 3/4 of your heart and not 1/4 or not half. No. You gotta give me a lot more. So we'll see. And the co-feature, I tell you what, that Isaac Chilemba once again showed that his chin is something to be reckoned with, as he withstood 12 rounds of Dimitri Bivol's power and accuracy. I mean, the fight wasn't close, but maybe it serves Bivol well, because in back-to-back fights, he's gone deep into each. It took him 11.5 rounds to stop Sully Barrera, after going no more than 4 rounds in his previous 4 fights. So I don't know what it sounded like. I said this with the JoJo Diaz versus Gary Russell when Diaz was landing the body shots. And I'll say it again. I don't know what it sounded like on TV, but Bivol hits like a Mack truck. You hear me? Carl Dargan. That's Nazim Richardson's nephew. He trains him. He won a workman-like decision in his fight. Carl's not a knockout guy, but he can fight. He got to win. He was off for 3 years, so that's good that he got back into the win column. I saw them at the restaurant eating earlier, and I know one of Richardson's nephews, my man Jermaine Williams, shout out to him. I told him I would shout him out in this video up there, and Jermaine's up there in Philly. I went to check him out in North Philly the other day. And speaking of time off, Dennis, mama's boy, Douglin, he put the brakes on Vaughn Alexander's comeback. Now, like his brother Devin, who fought on Fox, Vaughn, earlier in the evening, Devin fought on Fox. Vaughn, as well as Devin, they both lost decisions. Douglin just outworked Vaughn, who came back in 2016 after doing an 11-year bid for robbery. It's a good story. It's gotten derailed a little bit. And Vaughn, his post-fight comments were pretty much that he said it wasn't his night, but he was like, he has to go back and think about what he wants to do. He just doesn't know. And hopefully he won't be going back and robbing anybody. So hopefully he has a good support system and that he won't look at this loss. Here we go again. He was 12-0 coming in. So now he's 12-1 with 8 knockouts. It's like, dude, don't fall victim to that. You lost one time and now it's over. So hopefully he can bounce back. Clock isn't on his side. It's ticking, but we'll see. Now let me talk about the new Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. So they got self-parking. I drove in. I'm going to show some highlights of my stay right after I finish talking in a few more minutes. But I came in. We got $10 self-parking, and you can go in and out as often as you want each day. Cost you $10. Check-in was okay. I mean, the line was a little bit long. I didn't think it would be long that late in the evening. I got here late Friday, and so I went to my room, came back out, had a problem at the front desk. I took care of that, and I wanted some breakfast. So I saw a place that sold breakfast, but this lady at the front desk said, well, no, go to the Sugar Factory instead. So I go to the Sugar Factory, and I tell you what, the girl, she was kind of cute, but she didn't know, just didn't know what she was doing. And I waited. She's playing with the touch screen, putting my order in. So I got some scrambled eggs and scrambled hard, please. I got some fresh berries, which consist of strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. And got some bacon. I wanted the bacon extra crisp. Okay, eggs hard, bacon extra crisp, and some pancakes. So they come back, and I'll just say this. Oh, it took close to 40 minutes to get my stuff. I'll give them a pass. It's a new hotel. It's only been open since June. I'll give them a pass this time. The eggs were good. The fresh berries were pretty good. The bacon was, not only was it not extra crisp, it wasn't crisp at all. It just was like, they tossed it on there and took it off in like a minute. So I didn't like the bacon. And the pancakes were awful. God, they were awful. So I'll probably try that other place next time. Maybe I'll do it in the morning. The outdoor pool isn't finished. It'll be finished next year. It's supposed to be just very nice based off the pictures. But the indoor pool was open, and it was nice. It was, I guess we'd call it a kiddie pool. It was, I think 6 feet was the highest or what have you. So that was cool. Closes at 10 p.m. The place looks decent. And so I can't remember. I think this was the Trump Taj Mahal, and the Ocean Resort, where the ESPN card will be in a couple of weeks, it was the Revel, or vice versa. I can't remember. Don't care. But hats off to Dimitri Bivol. Hats off to Eliter, Alvarez. Hats off to all the winners and the losers. We talk about these guys, but it takes a lot to step into that ring. And hopefully, this is what, August, September, October, November. Maybe by the end of the year or early next year, we get a jump early next year. Hopefully we see that unification between Alvarez and Bivol. And then if whoever Stevenson fights next, if hopefully they knock him off. If they don't, we hope he has the guts to unify, or attempt to unify, I should say. And then I think there's another belt out there also. So we'll see, but hopefully we can get these guys to fight each other, and have a undisputed guy or something, or just give us the fights. You got Alexander Vosdik. I just not sure Stevenson will take that. I believe he's the guy. You got Artur Beterbiev. Beterbiev is the IBF guy, and Vosdik is the I think he's the WBC, but you how they do the like he's like the regular champion or something like that, and or oh wait a minute, did Stevenson get stripped? Let me do my homework on that one. Wait a minute. I know what they stripped him of the ring. I think the WBC still has him as however they do that crap, super or whatever. But anyway, all right, here's some highlights from the trip, and we'll catch you on the next one. TheFightJournal.com at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, getting ready for Kovalev versus Alvarez, Bivol versus Chilemba. We're here, baby. Kiss. Actual Gene Simmons guitar. Most of y'all too young to know what Kiss is, so I'm gonna keep it moving. This guitar belongs to who? Flea, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Some of you are too young to know who that is. Here's a dress worn by Rihanna. It's kind of whack if you ask me. So some of you young cats that's listening, you'll know who Rihanna is, I'm sure. All right, brand new hard rock. We're going to enter room 2162, see what it looks like. Okay. All right. There we go. Got a king size bed. All right. Not bad. Not bad. Bathroom. Okay, this bathroom got some size to it. Okay, okay, okay. Mirror, stand-up shower thing. And not Bruce Springsteen level. The boss. I know you guys know Springsteen, right? The boss. The outdoor of the pool. The old Ferris wheel, if you can see through the thing, the gate. And back indoor, show you guys the indoor pool. This is it's not a bad Hard Rock, not a bad place. Back indoors. There's the pool. MyJournal.com at the Kovalev, Alvarez. Tonight it's going down. Bivol and Chilemba. Alvarez. Pressure! Pressure!
Давай, Sergey!
TheFightJournal.com, baby. We're here.